Okay, see if we've got better voices and stuff. Do some talking for me.
Okay, I'm talking. I'm hanging in there, gang. I have I have hope. How are we doing? Are we good? Talky. See that I'm live now, so I should probably say something useful rather than nonsense syllables. Hello, gang.
Yeah, we've got very, very good. We're all that.
Thank heavens.
When you're ready.
Thank heavens. All right. So, as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by my own falsetto. Oh no, I need to quickly create a new team because we didn't finish creating the other one last time. Quick note about the names that I give to my worms normally, by the way. You'll see they're not the most imaginative, but it very much helps to know which worm that you're picking at any one time, just because in some of the levels you cycle through them turn by turn without actually being able to switch between them. So just a little tip for anyone who ever wants to get into speedrunning this, that is how you can help yourself learn the order. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, off we go. Yeah, so as I was saying before, so basically all missions any percent. We start with basic training where we just have to do this little training exercise with all the weapons in order to get used to them. All the main weapons anyway, like there's a wider selection of weapons in the game than what you see here, but these are the basics. So we had grenades on the first one. This is shotgun, which as you can see fires in a perfectly straight line. Bazooka, which can be affected by the wind depending on what the wind strength and direction is. You can see that in the bottom left hand corner. And here we go with the ninja rope, which is the most important tool in the whole game. As you can see, it enables you to swing across great distances, like so. You get an infinite amount of shots whilst you are in full swinging mode, but once you get off the rope and land on the ground, then that is the end of that rope's usage. Here's the second grenade training. It's pretty much exactly the same as the first grenade training, but you have a additional target that you have to hit, and so we changed the fuse of the grenade from 1 to 2 seconds on that, just to ensure that we can get it because it's a bit further away. This is fire punch training. Fire punch very much being the Shoryuken of this game. You can use it to collect crates and hit targets above you, as you can see, and you can also use it whilst jumping, which is very good. This is the second ninja rope training, where you get to drop a bit of dynamite whilst you're on the rope. And something you'll notice that I am doing at the end of every mission and training module is I am hitting Alt and F4 to get to the menu quicker. This is a little trick called fade skip. Basically, if you hit Alt and F4 normally during a mission, then you will quit and the game will count it as a fail. But if you do it just as the fade out starts to happen when you've completed the level, then it will take you to the congratulations screen quicker. And that will actually save you a good 40 seconds over the course of the entire run. So final grenade training here. A few pretty difficult targets that you have to hit, but we've got them, and that is it for the training. So in we go into our first mission, Pumpkin Problems. Object of this mission is to grab a crate on the right hand side of the map, doing that using the ninja rope here, and just dropping myself onto this mine here. And damage tanking, because the mine opens up a little hole so that we can get to the crate quicker. The enemy team, as you can see, is the one with the blue names. They have a turn, but they can't do anything, so they just skip go, which means that we can then just ninja rope straight down to the crate, like so. This next mission is called Operation Market Garden. This is the first one where we start getting some quite elaborate pixel perfect strats here. So here's a 2-second grenade that we bounce off these 2 flowers, and it piles the sentry and the 2 grenadiers together, like so. This is going to make them easier to kill on the next turn. This is also where the RNG in the run starts kicking off, because this grenade here can do one of a number of things depending on where it lands. It's actually hit worm 1 there and knocked them off the flower, which is slightly irritating, but we can work with it. What we ideally want is for worm 1 to stay in position, because that angle that we use for the first turn can be used for the grenadier on the right as well. Now, that grenade I just threw on the pile there, you notice it knocked those worms into the mine underneath the watering can, and depending on when the grenade hits them, a number of outcomes can happen. So we got 2 kills there, but we still have 1 grenadier left to kill. The reason it's so variable is because mines basically detect the area around them every 10 frames. So because of that, you never quite know exactly what configuration you're going to get. So here we go, going for a backup angle on this because we've lost our main position. So here we go, see how this goes. So 4-second grenade up into the air, and it just wallops grenadier right on the head like that. And then we still need to deal with this grenadier as well. And that was very close. So if 2 had been knocked out of position, that would have been quite annoying as well. As it stands, actually, I do need to get worm 2 out of there. But what I'm going to do at first is we're going to do a 4-second grenade over here. And that's just going to knock grenadier into the water like so. Now, I'm going to fire another grenade with worm 1 here. I've got a feeling that grenadier here is going to move to the right, which is going to make it slightly more difficult to deal with them. But we'll have a gander and see what happens.
Oh, you dozy bugger. All right.
So we go again. Yeah, not quite enough damage there to take that down, but down to 19, which means they can be killed with a shotgun. As you can see, we have a limited selection of weapons here, but we've got a few different ones available for the various situations. So what I'm going to do is going to use a shotgun here just to get through the stem of the flower. Like so, I'm going to drop down here. Use the mine there to blow grenadier off, and that has done enough damage to actually kill them off. So there we go. Not too... little bit difficult, this mission. It's probably one of the most complicated missions to learn, just because it has the most number of angles that you actually have to learn due to like all the backups that you need. Now, what I did there before starting the 3rd mission, All Quiet in the Library, is I reset it 4 times. So I went into the mission and then quit straight out of it. What this does is that the more attempts that you have of a mission, the more the game will try to help you out with what we call pity crates. So as you can see, there's crates dropping at the beginning of this mission. Normally we'd only get 2, because we're on our 5th attempt of the mission. Then we actually get 4. And these are very useful for the first couple of moves here. So that crate on top of 2's head there, we use that as a kind of deflective surface to use the baseball bat to knock the captain into the 2 grenadiers like so. So they all go into the water in one go. You cannot do that if you don't get the pity crates on your side, because that crate won't be there. Now, this grenade being thrown at worm 3. Again, because of the RNG, there's a bunch of different ways that one can go. And what we're going to do here, because we've got a spare baseball bat because of the extra crates, then I'm using that to knock grenadier straight into the water, like so. And now this field soldier here, what we're going to hope they do is we want them to make a pilgrimage all the way over to the other field soldier on the right. Which they may do. They may choose to go for worm 3 instead. We'll see. Okay, it's looking good so far. Now what we want them to do is we want them to use a shotgun on worm 5 rather than a bazooka. And that's good. So they're using the shotgun. What this means is because they get 2 shots, they knock worm 5 out of their view and they think, okay, can't shoot there anymore. And the enemy worms in this game have a rightward bias in the way that they move. They will generally try to move right much more than they will towards the left. So because of that, we know that he walks all the way over there, gets a shot towards 6, doesn't come anywhere near troubling him. and now they're piled together. Now the crate that's just spawned on the right, on the left of the level, sorry, is a double damage crate. So basically that just doubles the damage of... Oh, don't need the airstrike yet. Need to grab the crate first. And we're using an airstrike, which basically just dumps a bunch of missiles from the air onto the worms. And because it's double damage, you get some nice meaty explosions, which one-shot them both in one go. Again, another quite heavily RNG-based mission, that one. Oh, missed fade skip there, but never mind. Right, this mission's called Cool as Ice. This guard is looking to blow up the South Pole. We need to stop them. So what I'm doing is I'm using the Uzi there to shoot the crates directly above the guard. Supposed to use the crates to farm for weapons to get him, but just use them to blow them up instead, because they drop flames anytime you blow up a crate. Now the flames are RNG heavy. Sometimes they knock the guard into the water first try. Sometimes, like on this one, they don't. So we've had to grab a flamethrower and use that to knock the guard in. And you notice I deliberately damaged myself with the flamethrower at the end there. That's because the flamethrower has a 5-second animation cycle if you leave it to go. So we save a little bit of time there just by hitting ourselves, so it ends the turn sooner. Right. So this mission is called Do the Locomotion. Quite a notorious one for anyone who's familiar with the run. First thing we did there is we did a fire punch on this guard on the tree there, and we did it at a specific frame perfect point, which enables us a spur at the bottom of the tunnel so that we can actually jump up onto this little nub here. And then what we're doing there is using the bungee to actually do what we call a bungee fling. So bungee is a kind of downwardly mobile rope swing, as you can see, that enables you to break your fall when falling off surfaces. But however, you can use the momentum of it to actually fling yourself upward as well. And so because of that, we managed to circumvent the whole train in this mission. And grabbing the crate, which is the object of this one, this crate in the bottom right hand corner there, using a jetpack that we got from the blue crate there. Something to note about jetpacks: there's a number that appears over your worm's head when you're on a jetpack, and that just tells you how much fuel the jetpack has left. This mission is called Sand in Your Eye. This is a kill all the enemy worms mission. Most of the missions are kill all the enemy worms missions, unless I state otherwise. So what we're doing there is setting that mine off. That's going to knock the adjacent mine onto a field soldier, which will knock them into the water off screen. Camera tries to yank itself that way so that it can see them, but we're going to just carry on and focus on these two sentries, which we've knocked together into that little divot there next to the pyramid using a bazooka. I say this is a kill all the enemy worms mission. The actual task that you're supposed to do in this mission, according to the briefing, is you're supposed to collect a crate that falls on top of the pyramid around about turn 7, I think it happens. But actually grabbing that crate doesn't trigger the end of the mission. Just killing all the enemy worms does. So we're just going to kill all them off before that even, before the crate even gets here. Now we're using a longbow for this, hoping for a triple kill here. So we use that to knock the field soldier in. Longbow is basically like a shotgun, but it fires arrows and they have a longer trajectory. And then I'm using the camel's eye here to line up this next shot here, where I'm going to fire an arrow at the mine there, which knocks the mine into the sentries, and it blows them both next to this first aid crate. And what happens is one of the sentries gets killed off by the mine, and because of that, as you'll notice when worms die on land, they have a grave damage. And because that grave explosion happened next to the first aid crate, it blew that up and did enough damage to kill off the other sentry as well. And the final move coming up here, we're going to try and do what we call a rope knock. So jumping down here, setting up our ninja rope, and then dropping a grenade and flinging ourselves into the secret agent, using the momentum of our worm to knock them into the water. Something to note about rope knocks is that rope knocks are actually technically disabled in the missions in that you cannot actually do a rope knock during the turn time because all of the worms will basically just be stuck to the floor and won't move. However, what we did there is you have 3 seconds of retreat time after using the grenade, and once the retreat time is over, then the game will basically unstick the worms, meaning that if you time your rope knock so it happens after the turn time's over, then you can knock them into the water. This mission is called Not Mushroom out there. We did one reset, which gave us a girder starter pack. This is another collect the crate mission, by the way. And once again, the crate is on the right of the level. And what I did, we placed a bunch of girders into the sky there, used the ninja rope to swing all the way across to the right, and then teleported onto the item, like so. So yeah, fairly quick. You can also do that one in one turn, but it's much harder to do it that way. Basically, it involves swinging all the way across the map in 5 seconds, which is one for the elites only. This mission is called Big Shot, or as fellow Worms Armageddon speedrunner calls it, Matt Black calls it, Big Frog, for reasons I've never really understood. This mission is, so first turn here, we're using the longbow again. Longbow actually features quite heavily in the early part of the run. Using the longbow to kill off these sentries. The problem with the longbow is you only do 15 damage per arrow. So what we're doing is we're knocking these sentries into nearby mines so that the mine damage actually kills them off. And I placed worm 1 in a specific position here. This is going to manipulate this sentry into moving to the top of the big frog's eye. He's then going to cause this frog to need laser eye surgery. But the main benefit of this move is the sentry is now standing quite close to a mine. So what we're going to do, because we want to get a double kill on this turn, so I'm using my ninja rope here to swing all the way across and setting that mine off. That knocks the sentry over to here. So now we're going to set that mine off, and the combined damage of those two mines is actually going to kill off the sentry. But that's not going to be counted up until we actually finish this turn. So what I'm going to do is use an old woman that we just got from that crate there. And basically an old woman, very powerful weapon, just runs across and nags and moans and complains until eventually she just can't deal with the modern world and blows up. And that knocked that enemy into the water. Meanwhile, Sentry, as you can see, the damage is counted up and he blows up on the right hand side. This mission is called Water Surprise. Quite a notorious mission for casual players. A lot of people had trouble playing this mission casually, but it's actually not too hard in a speedrun context. First thing we're going to do is we're going to knock these mines off the side of the Eiffel Tower, because they're very untidy. And we tank some damage from the second one there, but neither of our worms die. Like, it looks like they're going to, but they don't. The object of this mission, we want to kill off this general here. He believes himself to be untouchable, but we're going to show him by touching him. Right, let me just get this girder in the right place here, because this is a bit of a tricky strat, this one. So what we're doing there is we need to climb the Eiffel Tower. We don't have much in the way of weapons apart from longbows at the moment, but there is a weapon at the top of the Eiffel Tower in that crate. That's a weapon called an aqua sheep. If you're familiar with the super sheep from this game, which is a flying sheep that can fly around and do damage, aqua sheep is the same, but it can go underwater. And what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to maneuver. You notice what we're using the girder for here is just to to deflect our backflips so we can get up to the crate here. And the aqua sheep here, what we're going to do is going to release it and then start the flight, but then we actually deactivate the sheep's cape so that it falls directly downwards, and the explosion is big enough that it transcends the indestructible terrain of the Eiffel Tower and knocks the general straight in. So this is a one-turner mission if all goes well. This is called Jurassic Worm. This is a kill the leader mission. We only need to kill one worm, and it is the captain underneath this dinosaur's legs. We're using a mole bomb to dig through the terrain to the captain. And what we did as well was we set off a mine on top of the dinosaur, which knocked the adjacent mine down the tunnel, so that it then follows them, hits the captain, knocks them into the water, and all of the enemy worms there just surrender immediately. Like so. So, nice quick mission, that one. This mission is called Chemical Warfare. Oh, and this one is quite an elaborate one. So once again, it's a kill the enemy worms one. The terrain is indestructible again. There's about 6 missions in the whole run that have indestructible terrain. And in this one it's very much a feature, because you'll notice that some of the enemy worms are holed up within this chemistry set here. So to kill them off, we're going to need to use a fire punch for that particular major there. Something to note about fire punch is fire punch always does a minimum of 30 damage, and because of that you can use it to permeate some of the thinner parts of the terrain, like so, because the hitbox will transcend it. Now this airstrike you've just seen on Worm 1, this is deliberate. I popped Worm 1 on the side there so that he would get knocked in by the airstrike. Partly because we don't need Worm 1 anymore, but also there is a elaborate CPU manipulation that we're doing here, where we want the major in the very middle of the terrain to actually move to the right later on. And in order to cause that, there's a very specific set of circumstances that we need to achieve in this mission. And getting rid of Worm 1 is one of them. Now this grenade going over to Worm 4, this should miss. Yeah, quite comfortably. You notice the CPU teams have levels. If you look next to the when you see it, the health gauge at the bottom of the screen, there's a number next to them between 1 and 5, and that indicates the intelligence of the CPU, with 5 being the highest. And the higher the CPU intelligence level, the more accurate their shots will be. Use the baseball bat there to knock that worm, and you notice the baseball bat has an enormous hitbox, so we can do it from quite far away. And this major, as you can see, this is exactly what we wanted the major to do there. Just walked all the way to the right here, which means that now what we can do is we can just drop a dynamite here, and the big explosion from the dynamite will permeate the indestructible terrain and kill off both those majors at once. We only got the dynamite, by the way, from a crate, which you only get from resetting the mission once before you start it. So, you know, we did a quick reset of this mission before we went in there. And then this field soldier is not going to do much of use. So we can just kill them off with... I'm going to go with a minigun. Minigun's always the safe bet at this point in the mission. It's very powerful as well, miniguns, despite the name. Can do up to 100 damage at point blank range, but we didn't need to. Didn't need to get that much on this occasion. We just knocked them into the mine for some extra damage, and all good. This mission is called No Substitute. And this mission introduces, I think, quite a lot of people's favourite weapon. Definitely one of the most showy weapons in the game. And feel free to sing along to this one if you know the words. Oh, what's going on with these jumps here? So yes, the weapon I'm speaking of is the Monty Python favourite Holy Hand Grenade. So I'm just lining myself up here. And then doing a series of jumps here. And the Holy Hand Grenade blows Worm 1 into Field Soldier, knocking them into the water like so. And then also knocks the artillery up to the top of the palm tree here. Because the artillery dies from the damage, then their grave explosion knocks the Field Soldier into the water as well. So you get a nice triple kill there, using the Lord's favourite projectile. Field Soldier here is now going to attack Worm 3. And sometimes they knock themselves into the water from the flames from the first aid crate there. Didn't happen on this occasion, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a shotgun Because once again, we've got 2 shots with a shotgun. And first one there, as you can see, just knocks Field Soldier straight into the water. And then going to jump across.
Hey.
Just use jumps, because like many games, this is one of those games where jumping is quicker than walking. Just like in real life. Then we just shoot that Major into the water. Like so.
What's they doing?
Yeah, that's pretty important to follow that route on that mission, because it can be quite a difficult one if you don't.
All right.
Right, this mission is called Who Let the Floodgates Open. As the title implies, there's you do have to worry about the water levels on this one. They do rise in between every turn. Used a series of jumps there to get up the side of this green cylinder here, because it's requires some very specific sub-pixel manipulation there to do that. And what I did there is I threw a grenade up to the secret agent there to knock them down from that claw, and it knocked the mine into the other secret agent. So now both of them are within the drowning threshold, which means they will die before they get a turn. This Field Soldier, slightly above the drowning threshold, but because we've left Worm 1 there as bait, Field Soldier for some reason moves down to get a better shot at Worm 1. They've killed him off, that's absolutely fine, because Field Soldier is now within the drowning threshold as well. The enemy worms do have teleport in this... oh, I forgot that I didn't get up onto the claw there, so let's get up there first. They do have teleport in this mission, so if they sense that they are going to drown within the next few turns, they will normally teleport to safety. But because of that manip, we actually managed to fool the Field Soldier into thinking we're more important. Use the girder to get up to the Field Soldier here, because although we do have ninja ropes in this mission, we don't get them until turn 4. And here is the RNG section of this mission, and we've actually got pretty good RNG this time round, because the secret agent used a bazooka and hit themselves in the process, knocking them down. So that's pretty good. Other outcomes that you can get from that turn are they'll just skip go, which is fine, or occasionally they'll teleport, which can be annoying depending on where they teleport. Just baseball batted that worm into the water. And then this secret agent on the left here, we want them to bazooka a hole through the cables so that we can get into that chamber. Looks like they are going to. Excellent. So yeah, this is a pretty good second half of this mission so far. Although they are slightly higher than I would like them to be, so that's not great. Anyway, here comes our ninja ropes, so we've got those available now. Setting that mine off, because why not? So what I'm going to do is going to use a minigun.
Just very quickly, I'm just going to go and get some lunch. So if there's any you want any donation reads within the next like half an hour, I'm not actually going to be by my PC for a bit. So
that's all right. I'll just have a guess.
Yeah,
I'll just guess what people might have donated.
In fairness, your commentary is perfectly fine. I mean, you've just been talking all throughout, so it's all good. But yeah, if you need any donation reads within the next like half an hour or so, then they won't be possible for a bit. But I'll be back in like half an hour.
Yeah, no. What are you having for lunch?
Just a sandwich.
Oh, nice,
so.
Excellent. Enjoy.
Yeah, will do.
All right, perfectly fine. That's all I've ever wanted from a compliment. Right, so we killed off that secret agent on the left there. So now what we're going to do is just kill this one off, and I'm going to use a longbow, I reckon. Just deflect them off the mine crater and into the water we go. So we got a particularly good second half of that mission there. Sometimes the latter half of this mission can be absolutely rotten if it wants to be, but it was pretty generous there. This mission is called Super Sheep to the Rescue. This mission, we just need to use a super sheep, like so, to collect a crate, which contains a fire punch, with which we can use to kill off this guard. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's quite hard controlling the super sheep, because it does have quite a responsive turning circle on it. Something to note about this mission as well is that if you played this game back when it was first released, this was a very cheesable mission. because you could just blow up the super sheep where you were standing, and that would kill off the guard as well. It would kill yourself off, but the game didn't care if you died. It only cared if the enemy worm died. But they actually patched that out, so now you have to survive that mission in order to complete it. And this mission is called Hot Stuff. And this has probably one of my favourite strats in the game. It's another Holy Hand Grenade one. What we're doing is, as you can see, we've got 3 worms of... Hang on, let me just focus on this because this is quite pixel specific. So dropping a Holy Hand Grenade there. We've got 3 worms of 300 health each. But what we're doing now is we grab the double damage crate, we placed a Holy Hand Grenade in a very specific position so that those bottom 2 field marshals got blown into the water, and then worm 1 got blown up to the top field marshal, and their grave damage just knocks them straight into the water, like so. So I managed to kill off 900 HP worth of worm in one very quick turn, which is very satisfying.
All right.
This mission is called Trouble on Mount Wormmoor, where you'll see probably some of your favourite worms carved in stone. This is another kill the leader mission, and it's pretty simple, this one. Like, it's a one-turner. You basically just use the ninja rope to get all the way across to where the leader is, which is the general underneath this Mount Wormmoor sign. Using a kamikaze, which basically... suicidal weapon where your worm just plows in any direction that you select and knocks the general up against the sign so that they then fall into the tunnel that you've made, and again all the enemy worms just surrender straight away. And here's the 3rd and final kill the leader mission in the game. This is called Chateau Assassin. And this is another one which I think casual players find quite difficult, but again is not too hard in the speed run. Using a select worm there so that we can create a little worm pyramid so we can get up onto this ledge and grab some crates. And we're placing a girder round about here. And then ending the turn on top of this oil barrel. Like so. So the leader that we have to kill off is this general in the bottom right hand corner. Quite far away, and as you can see we don't have much in the way of movement resources to get there. What we do have though is, because we reset the mission 4 times before starting it, we got a low gravity crate. So we've activated the low gravity, and that's going to remain for the rest of this turn as we grab this fire punch crate up here, and then we're going to use the fire punch on worm 3, which blows up the oil drum and sends worm 3 flying all the way to the right there, knocking the general with a 1 skim, 2 skim, 3 skim. Never quite get the full rainbow on that one, but it knocks general straight into the water, and the major just looks at that and just thinks, like, I didn't sign up for this, and gives up immediately. Again, another one of my favourite strats in this mission, in this run. This mission is called Rescue Agent Dennis. The plot of this mission is that Agent Dennis is being played by Worm 1 here. Agent Dennis has been ambushed by 8 CPU 5 worms, and fortunately he has a considerable arsenal of weapons within which to deal with them. And that's a very odd shot from the assassin there. Sometimes this assassin, you can manipulate him into actually knocking themselves down into the pit there, because that's where we do ultimately want them, but not to be on this occasion. So use the homing missile here for this turn. The way homing missile works, similar to a bazooka, but like after half a second the homing mechanism kicks into where you put the crosshairs, and using a very pixel specific position with the crosshairs there, that actually knocked 2 worms in at once with that shot. What we want now is we want the wind to go to the right, because this is going to enable us to use a napalm strike. Oh, that crate is not good though. We might be okay. Okay, the wind is not going right, but it actually shouldn't be a problem. We'll see how this goes. So here's the napalm strike. It just... okay, yeah, I didn't get enough... quite enough napalm on the assassin there. The crates in this mission are absolute trolls, by the way. They contain select worms, which, given that we only have one worm, seems a little bit ambitious. So assassin there grabbing the select worm. He doesn't really know what to do with it, if I'm honest. But he's walking into a particularly annoying position here, so this mission might be in trouble. Throwing a grenade. He's trying, bless him. Notice the rightward bias as well means that he's gone all the way to the right there, so just trying to think how best to play this. Right, what we're going to do is... so the big problem with this mission is you only have one ninja rope. Right, I'm going to throw a banana bomb down here. Normally I would save this for the very last turn and do what's called a banana trick. We'll explain a bit more about that in the next mission because we use a banana trick there as well. I'm going to just hope that Assassin doesn't wreck us too hard here because we're not in a particularly safe position here. So, okay, good. All right. I knew we were going to take some damage there, but as long as we didn't get knocked into the water, that's the main thing. And now we just need to pilgrimage across to the right here so we can kill off the assassin. Because we pretty much used up all our best long-range weapons at this point. So yeah, that's why you really want the napalm strike to work as efficiently as possible. Just trying to think which the best weapon is. I mean, we'll go with an Uzi on this one. Because we don't need anything too heavy. And there we go. Just shoot him straight into the water. Like so. Yeah, that one is another mission that can be wrecked by RNG if it wants to. But that wasn't too bad, actually. We managed to still do it in one attempt, so that's good. This mission has the rather peculiar title, Horny Nuke. I'm not entirely sure if there's a pun there or what it's the reference to, but this is I guess what you would call a shopper mission. You start with no real weapons apart from an Uzi, so we're just using the ninja rope from that crate that we got at the beginning there to collect some of these crates, and starting off here with a pixel perfect 2-second grenade there just to knock the guard and artillery down into this pile like so. So these 4 worms here, we're going to be using the banana bomb on them a little bit later on, but we're going to save that for last. What we're going to do though now is going to use another pixel perfect grenade here. That knocks the sniper into the other sniper there so that they are both piled in this pit here, which is going to make them easier to kill off simultaneously. I'm going to do that using ninja rope and just dropping a grenade onto them. Ah, damn it. So what I try to do there is basically one of the odd little gimmicks with this mission is you only get 2 seconds of retreat time. Most of the other missions you'll get 3 to 5 seconds, but this one it's very narrow, and because of that what I try and do on that turn is I use the ninja rope to try and fling myself at the end of that turn as far left as possible, because we're going to be dealing with the artillery on the left hand side next. Didn't quite get it on this occasion, but it's fine. We still have 1 spare ninja rope using this strat for this mission, so... And once again, for any Holy Hand Grenade fans, in fact this might be the last Holy Hand Grenade that you see in this run, so enjoy. Throwing it above artillery there, because you'll notice there's a crate directly under Worm 1. We didn't get the one shot there, that's a shame, but it's quite rare that you actually get that. The crate underneath Worm 1 is another one of those crates which you're supposed to get in order to complete the mission, but yeah, according to the briefing, but actually you don't need it at all. However, if you do destroy the crate, then the game will count that as a loss. So because of that, we needed to place that Holy Hand Grenade in a high enough position so that the massive hitbox didn't interfere with the crate. And now I just need to pile these worms up a little bit better than we have, and there they go. And now we're going to use the banana bomb. So you saw how powerful the banana bomb was on the last mission, but we're going to do what's called banana trick. So basically, I'm going to stand on the edge of a worm, and we're going to drop the banana underneath my worm's bottom, like so. What happens is, all of those bananalets that you normally see coming out of it, they all explode at once, creating this massive contained explosion, which, as you can see, did over 400 damage on some of the central worms there. But it basically just creates enough damage there that you can kill all of the worms off in one go. You also lose your worm, but in the vast majority of the missions, the game does not care if you die on the last turn, just as long as you've completed your objective. And we'll be using that trick probably a few more times in this run. This mission is called Rumble in the Farmyard. First thing we're doing, firing a bazooka at the garden fork there to knock that mine down. Ah, damn it, and I slightly too slow on the retreat there. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and jump onto the mine just below the hay there, because we need to tank some damage on worm 1. I'll explain why in a moment. There we go, that's better. So now artillery is going to fire a bazooka at worm 1. Didn't take any damage, so I'm going to need to bear that in mind. And now I'm going to use a ninja rope here to get across to the left of the level. Oh, come on! Okay, so I did a what we try and call a rope fling on that one, which is a little bit quicker given the distance you have to traverse. However, we just got the angle slightly wrong there. Now this is fine, we can still continue with this mission, but it's going to be slightly different to how I want it to go. Right, hang on, so I'm just lining up the right sub-pixel here, because we're going to use a bazooka to knock these two through the hole in the garden fork onto the other field soldier. Now 2 is going to tank some damage here as well, but it hopefully shouldn't be too much. I've got a feeling we might be in trouble there. 63. Field soldier didn't die, actually, so that is... Oh dear, I think we might be in trouble. Yeah, okay, that is a reset on that one. Because, yeah, I could tell by trying to quit there that I'd taken too much damage. The game won't let you quit if the mission is over. When I say quit, I mean, like, pause the game. Yes, this one actually, because I think for casual players this mission can be quite boring, but the actual speedrun strat for this is has some pretty unique strats in it. Right, let's try and get this rope right this time. That's better, there we go. So yeah, grabbing the cluster bomb crate this time, and the dynamite crate, both of which we need for this mission, and then going to drop a dynamite here. This is going to knock artillery and worm 2 down into the well, and this is going to set up a double kill that we're going to try with captain and artillery later. There's the airstrike again, and 38, perfect. Yeah, with worm 1 here, we want them to have less than 43 HP for this bazooka trick that's coming up here. So let's just do it again. 3 nudges that way, and then a backflip, 2 nudges in this direction, and then aim at a very specific terrain marker, using that leaf there to line up the shot, blowing them in, and then hopefully this time we should get a better spread. Yeah, perfect. So they're both lined up together, which means that the grave damage here will kill off the field soldier, like so.
I'll get you. Oh dear.
And then artillery here, I don't think can do anything. He might do a waste bazooka. Yeah, nothing. Okay. So now, what we're going to do here is we're going to do what we call cluster trick. Oh, please don't tell me that Captain is... You have to be kidding me. Oh no, why is this mission proving so horrible? So, Captain managed to evade getting killed in that instance. Goodness me, this is a disaster. Insta, come back from lunch. I need some donation chat. Right, come on, you got this. This is quite a tough strat, this, because what happens is you end up... It's another one where you end up with no worms at the end of it. 31. Right, okay, and now I'm going to have to do this slightly differently because... Oh my god! And we failed the rope fling again.
Someone want me to come back from lunch?
No, well, listen, if... I mean, this is my 4th attempt at this mission, so... And Izzy just died. 5th. Yeah, if you've got anything you'd like to say, Insta, now would be a time, because this mission is just being unfeasibly rotten to me on this occasion.
Do we have a marathon luck mission, do we?
No, this one's normally not that bad. It's just everything that could possibly go wrong on this one just seems to be going wrong.
So we have reached marathon luck. Hooray! Only 3 runs in. We don't have any new donations in, but I can tell you all about our amazing donation page that's available on Tiltify, of course. If you would like to donate, then all the proceeds go to Everyone Can. They are a really great charity. They help disabled people play games and stuff, and they have a gaming centre in Manchester. So please do donate to them through the Tiltify link, and also merch sales as well, where 50% of the profits go to Everyone Can as well. Check them out as well on Twitter. It's at EveryoneCanUK. I'll be tagging them in some of the InstaSpeedathon posts as well, so if you do follow the InstaSpeedathon Twitter, then you'll find the Everyone Can Twitter through that as well. I'm going to go and finish my lunch, and then I'll be back in like 5 minutes, so I won't be long.
Yeah, so I hope you enjoy the rest of your sandwich.
Right, it's actually a toast, actually. But
oh, right.
I changed my mind. I thought I'd go with some toast.
It's just a sandwich, but hotter, let's be honest.
Well, yeah, I mean, which genius thought, let's make some bread, cook it. Cook it again. Genius.
I don't know, but I salute them.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Right. I'm going to go and finish my toast.
And I am going to go and finish this mission. Right, so here we go. One more time. One more for the road. So, this is a sub-pixel specific jump we do here when we bounce off Field Soldier, by the way. Okay, this looks wrong, so I'm going to try it again. Right, so 1, 2, 3, jump. Back. There we go. And fire. Walk in. Like so.
Oh, I'm gonna peg it.
Good. Right, now this time I'm not going to take any chances with the cluster trick this time. I'm going to do it, but I'm going to put Worm 2 out of the firing line. Reason I put him in there before is just to try and get some extra damage on Captain, but I didn't realise Captain was going to land in such a phenomenally awful position. Right, so here we go. I'm doing 3 seconds as well. I'm doing everything I can to just baby the hell out of this, and well, that had better be over 100, son. I'm not going to chase you down there. Perfect. Okay, we're past it. Someone said no pressure, but you're being watched on the big TV screen. Wow. Okay, someone's got their massive plasma out just to watch me fail this mission. Love you. Right. This mission is called Wooden Ambush. Again, if you can figure out the pun there, you're probably better at cryptic crosswords than I am. So what we're doing with this one, jetpacking across here and using a sheep. Just having them run down there between the 2 branches and creating a nice big explosion to knock the 2 field soldiers together. And I've positioned Worm 1 high enough up that the field soldiers on the right will not try and aim for him, which means this field soldier on the left is going to fire bazookas at worm 4, and that's going to basically create a path for him to get down there, which is what we want to do, because this is another kill all the enemy worms mission. Throwing a 4-second grenade down between the branches, and we want it to knock them both into the water. It hasn't done so. The field soldier has survived there, but what I've done is I've positioned worm 1 hopefully in a place where this field soldier will create a path for us to be able to get down to kill them off. Wind's looking good for this as well, so yeah, lovely. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just... Oh, what on earth is that? Come on, lad. Right, I'm going to just use a grenade. Just to knock them straight into the water, like so. And then, because they're now gone, field soldier will now make another grenade, shoot another grenade towards 4. And now we can get in, as you can see. We're just going to kill them off with a grenade, and we get a very healthy selection of jetpacks in this mission. So just dropping a grenade there, and the blast of the grenade knocks our worm into the field soldiers, that then knocks them both into the hole that we've just created. And all rise for the scariest mission in the game. Go bananas. I say scariest. It's scariest for me. I don't know how other people feel about it. So, what I did there... Oh, wow. I think he's dead. No! Damn it! Right, we need him to survive that. What we're doing is a grenade launch to try and get our worm over the banana here. So, let me just try and do that again. Bit too low on that one. No, don't quit the entire game. Alright, let's just focus. Because we only get 5 attempts at this. Okay, better. So yeah, basically that is a frame perfect trick, that one. What you have to do is you basically pop the grenade down and you have to jump just as the grenade explodes, and it will launch you all the way over to the right, because the object is to grab this crate in the bottom right of the map. And the big problem with this strat is that if you have more than 5 attempts at it, then the game will start giving you a pity crate, which is a double damage crate. It will be dropping that on top of the bunch of grapes. And that's actually not that useful for that strat, because that will launch you too far and you will not be able to survive it. But it's unavoidable double damage crate, so it basically just ruins your ability to try and do the quick the quick version of that strat. So this mission is called the drop zone, and we reset it 4 times, which gives us a shotgun crate, which I've just grabbed, and I'm going for a frame perfect shot there. We didn't get it. What I was trying to do is trying to shoot the worm there so that he actually bounced off the mine and knocked that field soldier into the water at the same time. Didn't have it. That's kind of not frame perfect, but there's a certain frame range every second that you can get that done, and you want to try and get it to happen at the very beginning of a second on the counter in the bottom left, because then the mine detection, the frame detection on the mine will kind of link up and make that happen. But it's fine. So it's just 1 extra turn that we have to do on this mission now, but there's nothing too heavy. And to get these long distance shots to work, we're using terrain markers within this cliff face here, which means we can just set these up quickly without having to think too hard about them. Knocking field soldier in. And then we'll be knocking the captain in shortly if we get this right. There we go. Like that. It's like three notches above the previous angle, that one. Wait, notching is basically like each individual movement that you can do with the cursor, and like to be able to do this run you very much need to learn how notching works. It takes a while. And then you're going to sort of see a little bit of how this mission is supposed to go here. So we're going to parachute down and do a fire punch on the field soldier into the other field soldier here. We've got 5 suicide bombers in this mission, and what you're supposed to do is supposed to float each worm individually down to each island and use the suicide bombers to knock them into the water, but it's long and arduous, and we deserve better. This mission is called Countdown to Armageddon. This mission has the most lore out of any of them. First thing I did after that grenade to knock field soldier in is I jump knocked worm 2 down there. This is going to manipulate this field soldier into aiming at worm 3. We want worm 3 to not knock major out of place, and that has happened, so that's good. You notice there's a worm there who's had a hot date with a milliner recently. Like, the behatted worm there is the politician who we have to protect. They're an NPC, and the plot of this mission is that after 8 turns, there's going to be a meteor storm where loads of meteors will rain down on the terrain and cause loads of destruction. Now, what you're supposed to do in this mission is you're supposed to use girders to basically create shelter to protect the politician from getting killed, but instead what we're doing is we're just going to kill off all the enemy worms before the meteor storm even has a chance to strike. The way that we're doing that is we're piling all these worms into this central section here, and then what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and actually one-shot them all on this next turn. I say one shot. They've already taken a bunch of damage, so it doesn't technically count as one shot, but you know what I mean. I'm going to do that using a baseball bat. So just knocking them all into one all-purpose bat, and immediately I can see we've not got it because that major has landed slightly too high up. But the one grave damage there, as you can see, just gives the rest of the worms a pounding there. And had that other major been in the pile, then that all of the grave damage there would have basically just killed them all off in one go. But it didn't happen. That's okay though. It's quite rare that you actually get that to happen in one go, because it's just a very hard shot to actually line up consistently. So I'm going to use a shotgun just to tidy up. I think we might only need the one shot of the shotgun. Let's see how it's blown apart again. So field soldier blowing up here. And something to note when several worms die on land at the same time is that it's always the worm who is the furthest left who will die first. So as you can see, those worms on the left die. Now the worms on the right start dying. And there you go. He puts the shotgun away because the game realises, okay, there's no one left to shoot, so we don't need the second shot anymore. So yeah, the politician survives for another day. And this is Mars Star. This is the only mission in the game where you get an infinite amount of weapon uses per turn. And we're going to... Is that right? Yeah, it'll have to be. What we're going to do, we've got to blow up the crate on the right of the level. So we're doing that by just placing a girder like that. And whilst these grenades are in the air, like, you know, it just deflects the grenades into the crate. Like so, just blowing it up straight away. So yeah, that's one of the quicker missions in the game, but mainly because you get infinite amount of shots. This mission is called Mad Cows. First thing doing there, placing a grenade there to knock Major into the water. Like so. Both of these cows are going to lose their heads, I'm afraid. So if you don't like seeing worm on cow violence, then this is probably a mission you should look away from. And there's not really a huge amount of gimmick in this one. It's another kill all the enemy worms mission. The only real gimmick is that you only get 20 seconds per turn, so you have to move pretty fast. And we got a nice double kill coming up here. If we get this right. Dropping a grenade here, and then that jumping. Oh, come on. Must have been on the wrong sub-pixel there, because he's supposed to land on the cow's horn when he did the back jump there. But that's okay. We've got plenty of backups in this mission. As you can see, this is another one where you got a decent amount of weapons, so if things go wrong, nothing really to worry about. So we're gonna kill Major off on this turn. Just trying to think what the best way of killing them off is. Bazooka would be possibly pretty good, but I'm just going to go with trusty Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball basically is the Hadouken to the Fire Punch's Shoryuken in this game. And what I did there is I did it whilst I was jumping, which actually cuts out the animation, which just makes it a little bit quicker. And then the final thing we're going to do to kill this Major off, we're going to use a dynamite. And we're going to use a technique known as Dynamite Hatting. So basically, if you place a dynamite on a worm's head, basically there's about 7 or 8 pixels on top of a worm's head that will where you can place the dynamite. And based on where you put it, the angle that they are launched will be different. So you noticed I just nudged as far to the right as possible on that worm's head there before we go too far. And that meant that the dynamite trajectory knocked them into the water. This mission is called Bazooka on the Rocks. And this is one of the harder missions in the run because the RNG can conspire heavily to kill you off. So we started with a pixel perfect bazooka shot. That kills off the captain, and the grave damage there then kills off the other captain. The wind. So basically, the big problem with this mission is, as the title implies, it is you only really get bazookas as offensive weapons. And given some of the worm positions, particularly this captain on the left, that makes it really hard because the bazookas, as we've mentioned, are wind dependent, and the wind, apart from on the first turn, is RNG heavy. Speaking of which. So this turn here, we're going to kill off the Major. And we're using the bazooka to knock them into the nearby mine. Like that. And for that shot, you actually have to learn a bunch of different positions based on what the wind is. Because there's no one bazooka angle that will actually achieve that shot. So you have to... there's a chart on my wall, should I need it, that tells me which position to use for that shot. Didn't need it for that one. That one I'm pretty well versed in. But... And then this captain is the only worm that's left. And fortunately, we've reset this mission once. And that gives us one pity crate here, which is a homing missile. And that makes this shot a lot easier to get. Just need to make sure I get the right point with the crosshairs. Firing the homing missile into the air. Round it goes. Knocks the captain into the flames from the first aid crate there. And bosh, there we go. Depending on captain's position, that shot can be very difficult to line up. Sometimes he won't play ball. And he'll just stand in a really irritating position there. But we're all right on that go. This mission is called Stolen Goods. First thing we're doing is ninja roping underneath this swanky Microprose logo. Microprose were the original publishers of Worm's Armageddon. They're not on those duties anymore, but I'm just guessing that Team 17 thought that the Steam logo didn't make as good of a shape for this mission. The plot with this, I switched the background off, by the way. You can switch the layers to different layers of background on this, and I switched it to the very lowest layer for the ninja rope turn there, just because it makes the kill plane of the water easier to identify. But the object of this mission is we need to kill off the enemy worms. We don't start with much, but there's a few lovely crates there, and that mine getting knocked through the tunnel there is slightly unfortunate because Worm 1 would have been in a good position to deal with cleanup. But hey, we got a crate that contains a French sheep strike here. So, and more than ever, I want this to try and one-shot them. French sheep strike is yeah, I can already see it's not happened. Basically, it drops a bunch of flaming sheep onto the enemies, and each of them bounces once, so they can do quite a lot of damage. And we killed off 3 of the enemy worms as a result. But the field soldier on the right does have a habit of surviving quite often. And because the bounce of the sheep is RNG, there's not really a huge amount you can do about that. Anyway, let's see what Field Soldier does, because we do have a little bit of backup. Hopefully I won't have to send Worm 2 over there, but let's see. So this cluster bomb that came remarkably close, actually, to doing some damage. But we reset this mission once, and that means we get a pity crate. The Homing Pigeon. So let's just pop the crosshairs. Homing Pigeon is very similar to Homing Missile, but it's sentient. And, oh, lovely shot there. So basically, they're quite powerful, the Homing Pigeon, and it managed to knock the worm all the way there. The AI on the Homing Pigeon can be a little janky, so you can't necessarily guarantee that it's going to reach its target that well. But that pigeon very much earned its grain on that occasion. Is that what pigeons eat? I don't know. This mission is called Sinking Ice Cap. It's a bit of a misnomer. We don't have any weapons other than blow torches to kill off the enemy worms, although fortunately they only have 20 HP each, so it's not too hard. But we're going to try an AI manipulation here. What we've done is we've jumped onto Assassin's head. Assassin is now going to try and attack us with an airstrike. However, as he does that, Worm 1 falls off their head and hits the nearby mine, which interrupts the airstrike attack and basically just kills off the Assassin. So we get one free kill on that turn. And we took some damage there as well. Ideally, we actually wanted to end up with less than 8 HP after that turn. It didn't happen on this occasion, but that's okay. We do have a backup. I'll explain why we wanted that in a moment. And then doing another blowtorch on this Assassin. I'm now going to position my worm up here on the apex of the roof. If we've got this right, this should manipulate this Assassin into doing an airstrike on Worm 1. Surprise. Yes, here we go. And it hits the oil drum just above the Assassin there, which means that they end up dying in the process as well. And our worm dies as well, but as I mentioned earlier, the missions don't really care if we lose our worms on the last turn, just as long as we achieve what we set out to do. If we'd had less than 8 HP on that, then we would have been able to do a slightly quicker strat where we actually just use fall damage by jumping onto the worm to kill them off. But you know, that's a decent backup. Right, this mission is called Aim Long, Aim True. We only have grenades to deal with these 4 worms in this mission. The terrain is indestructible, and this is what we call a artillery mission, which means our worm cannot move. So we have to get some fairly pixel perfect grenade shots in to make this one work. First one here, bouncing off the robot's shoulder and knocking this grenadier down next to the other grenadier. The grave damage is going to cause 13 damage to this grenadier here. Now we've put these girders, I'm using the girder starter pack. Sorry, my nose is really getting all stuffy all of a sudden, so I'm struggling to articulate words. Place those girders above Grenadier for 2 reasons. One, to... Oh, that was a bit too hard on that grenade, but never mind. We got another attempt, so it's fine. But those girders basically stop that Grenadier from being able to fire at us. But also, if we get this shot right, then it provides a funnel that knocks the grenade down like so. And this Grenadier lands right next to the middle Grenadier, and the grave damage then kills them off as well. So we actually managed to kill off that middle Grenadier without throwing a single grenade at them. And then this final one probably looks quite difficult to get, but fortunately we've got the ability to change the bounce on the grenade as well. So we're going to throw this 5-second max bounce grenade so that it bounces between these girders and blows them into the water, like so. It's actually quite rare that you end up knocking them into the water, but that's great because you actually want for the most part, you want worms to die in the water rather than on land, just because the animation is quicker.
Is that a fire alarm I just heard in the background?
Yeah, I live in an apartment complex and things happen.
Oh, was it the like a test that they do or something?
It's some weird test that they do, yeah. I never know exactly when they're going to do the test, so... But
oh, yeah, that used to happen when I was in university. The student accommodation I used to live in, it used to be Friday mornings at 11 o'clock every morning, but...
Yeah.
Well, every Friday morning, but it's a health and safety thing, so... No, that's fine, totally fine. Yeah. Carry on.
No,
as long as the building's not burning down, we're all right.
I'm guessing it's more of a this streamer's nailing their speedrun alarm. That's how I like to cast it.
It's so good that you're the one that's causing the fire.
Yeah, exactly. Right. All right, we get your point. Right, this mission is called Goody Two Shoes, and this is another shopper mission. Because we don't have much to start, but we do get an aqua sheep, and it implies, because it's an aqua sheep, that you can actually get the sheep to fly under the water and grab these crates for you, and you can, but A, it is extremely difficult to do it given how little room you have under there, and B, you can't really use the weapons to kill off the enemy worms from down there unless you get exceptionally good RNG. So, because of that, we're having to blowtorch to the surface of this shoe, which we've done. And then we're going to use the aqua sheep to collect... we need 4 of these crates here to be able to complete this mission. Well, actually, we only need 3, technically, but we end up getting 4 anyway. And this crate only spawns because I reset the mission once, and I'll explain a little bit about that in a moment. So off goes the aqua sheep. There we go. And we actually got one more crate than we needed, but that's fine. So, oi! And didn't quite kind of knock the field soldier into a slightly unoptimum position there. So what we did was we used that extra crate that we got there, which contains a napalm strike. But what I use it for is I use it as extra ammo for killing that field soldier off with the aqua sheep, because it just guarantees that you'll kill them off. However, what I didn't want to happen was to knock them next to one of the crates I didn't grab, because the explosion animation from it just drags out the turn a little bit longer. But it's fine. They're dead, that's the main thing. So here we are. Now we've got some weapons to be able to deal with the enemy worms. We've got a couple of baseball bats, so using one of them to knock that field soldier into the water using a ricochet shot. The other weapons we got were ninja ropes, which we're going to be using to swing up to this field soldier. And we also have an airstrike, which we're going to use to kill these 2 worms off in a moment. We've got some spare grenades as well, which we don't normally end up using in this mission, to be honest, but it's nice to have on standby. And the rest of the weapons in those crates are not really useful, so we just ignore those. So up we go, roping up to the field soldier and batting them into the water. Like so. And then we're going to be using a, as I say, we use the airstrike. So this major is going to walk to the right. And you generally want to shelter quite well in this mission if you can, because you'll notice this is a CPU 5 team that we're up against here. So again, their shots can be pretty punishing. But we're all good. So just lining up this. There we go, like that. You may have noticed, if you were listening carefully there, I actually used the number pad to move the cursor just 1 pixel into position there. It's a little accessibility setting that you can use on Windows that makes it a little bit easier to line up cursors. I don't tend to use it in Worms Armageddon that much, but I also run Worms 2, and that comes into play very usefully in that game. Right, this is the penultimate mission. Trouble in Toy Store. Starting off there with another classic pixel perfect grenade shot there. That just knocks the 2 leftmost worms into the water, which is a very useful level. This captain here, we want the captain to end their turn as far left on the teddy's ear as possible. And they have done. Also, should have warned you that some of the violence on these teddies can be a little bit upsetting to watch. So I wouldn't watch this mission if you're of a nervous disposition. That's how the rhyme goes. And then we're going to be using a cluster trick here, but it's a long distance cluster trick. So as you can see, we throw the cluster bomb all the way under the captain's bottom, like so, and we actually got a wonderful one shot there, which doesn't always happen, but the force of the clusters was such that it actually knocked them both fully into the minefield there, which is great. Again, that's very RNG because the spread of the clusters from a cluster bomb is random, so you never quite know exactly where the cluster trick is going to knock that worm, but that was very welcome. Because you don't have much in the way of long-distance backup weapons in this mission. You've got a weapon called a mortar, in which anyone who's played Worm's second-generation games like this will know is one of the worst weapons ever created. So useless. But occasionally you do end up having to use it in this mission. You'll notice there's a VIP in this mission as well. I don't really tend to talk about it much because it doesn't really come into play, but yeah, there's a scientist there who's poisoned. So you might be thinking, some scientist, why doesn't he just cure himself? And wow, we've just got, he's got 2 kills off this shot there, which is fine. It does put a lot of onus on this last move here, because we're doing a cluster trick to kill off the assassin. But yeah, basically we have to protect the scientist, and the poison means that the scientist loses 3 health per turn, but you don't really need to worry about that in this mission. Like, the only worm who can legit kill them off is the assassin, and as you can see, we've got them. We used that dynamite earlier to get closer to the assassin so that we can kill them off, and then use the cluster trick just to kill them off. No worms left on this mission apart, but the scientist survived, so that's the important thing. And here we go with the final mission of the game. It's called Spectral Recovery, which takes place on a bunch of kayfabe Worms Armageddon ZX Spectrum cassettes, which you can find at a market near you, I'm sure. The object of this mission is there is a crate that is going to drop in several turns' time. It's going to drop all the way on the left-hand side of the map, and we need to grab a girder from inside the middle tape here, and then use that to stop the crate from falling into the sea. Now, the way that we're going to do this is actually not necessarily the most straightforward way, but it's definitely the fastest and best way. So, first thing we're going to do is use a 2-second max bounce grenade on that captain to knock them off the tape into the water. And as we did that, we also did a jump knock on the worm on the right there to knock them into the water. So we killed off 2 of the enemy worms already. And that enrages this captain. This captain is now going to come down the side of this ZX Spectrum tape. It's going to give us a piece of their mind. Because they're like, how dare you kill off my comrades like that? In cold blood, nonetheless, as well. Down he comes, and he's going to show us what for. Got him. So, because he somehow managed to botch that move, we now have the chance to steal. So we go all the way to the right, use a blowtorch, and knock the captain into the water, like so. And you might be thinking, okay, GG's, right? That's the end of the mission. No, not quite. Because remember, we've still got to save that crate. And so what happens is, because we have killed off all of the enemy worms in this mission, we now get all of their turns, which means that we basically just get to go all the way to where the crate is going to drop, undisturbed. And so we grabbed our girder crate, so now all that remains is to go up to the top left using blowtorches. We're then going to use a girder to stop the crate from falling into the sea, and we're just going to skip turns until the crate arrives. So, kind of a slightly chilled out, maybe you might say, anticlimactic end to the run. But nice to have a bit of peace and quiet at the end. So I'm going to use this opportunity to just do some shout-outs. Shout-out to Mablak, who is the current world record holder of this category, and is a fantastic speedrunner in his own right. I keep badgering him to try and do these marathons, but he's usually kind of like, oh, I've got band practice, you know. But yeah.
Have you finished your run? Have you finished your run?
Not quite. No.
Oh, okay, cool.
Sorry. I'll tell. Yeah, time. I'll tell you when time is coming up. My bad.
No, it's fine. I just got confused. I was thinking, all these shoutouts, have I missed time?
Yeah, no. Don't worry. Yeah, we're nearly there. So what happens is it'll be when you see the congratulations screen come up in a moment. So I'm just skipping go as we go there. Shout out to the rest of the Worm speedrunning community as well. To Lex, Dead Code, Psychotropic, Peachy, and if you are interested in speedrunning this game, I highly recommend it. It's quite challenging, but there's a lot to learn. Here comes the crate. We're grabbing the crate, and time. And that is Worms Armageddon. All missions, any percent. And just going to see what the time is going to be on this, because I'm a little bit behind there. It looks like it's going to be in the high end of the 1:18 realm, which is below estimate, so that's fine. Current world record is 1 hour 3, which is an obscene run by Mablak. I highly recommend checking that out if you can. But yes, thank you very much to InstaSpeedathon for having me. Please do keep on donating to the EveryoneCan cause. It's a very good cause. And quick shout out to myself as well. Twitch.tv/RuffledBricks. I also speedrun Worms 2 and Worms World Party. Sometimes I speedrun all 3 of them in one go, so please do check that out. And I speedrun other cartoony graphics games as well. And as I say, if you want to learn how to do this speedrun or any of the Worms speedruns, do check out the Worms speedrunning Discord. Got a lot of people there be willing to help you on your way. Insta, anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, we've had a donation in for £20.
Yes.
So £20 donation in for InstaSpeedathon 2022 from Harry Sackington Brotherton Squire. And the comment is worms.
True.
Very concise comment. I like it. It doesn't go towards any incentives though, but in talking about incentives, we do have an incentive coming up very, very soon, within the next about 3 hours or so, and that is the Any Percent Showcase for Anti-Chamber 100%. So if you do want to see that, then please donate to that. It needs £50. It's currently on 0, so if you want to see that, then it needs to reach £50. Otherwise, we are going to miss it. So be sure to be sure to add an incentive to your donations as well. It doesn't cost anything, and the full total of the donation goes towards the incentive. When you donate, you can donate to a target and a poll at the same time as well. So you basically get 2 for the price of 1, in a sense. It doesn't add anything to your donation. It doesn't cost anything extra. Your donation still goes all to the charity as well, but it also goes into the polls for changing the course of someone else's run. So we can always have a little bit of fun out of it. Anyway, thank you for taking part. Thank you for running Worms Armageddon. Do you have any final things you'd like to say?
No, I think I covered them all during the outro of this run. So...
No, that's fine. And the final time there was 1 hour 19 seconds. 1 hour 19 minutes 9 seconds.
Okay.
I was going to say, 1 hour 19 seconds, that's flipping world record there, isn't it?
No, not even close.
1 hour 19 minutes and 9 seconds.
Would have got away with it if it wasn't for that pesky farmyard, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for taking part, and we'll hopefully see you again soon.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.